For the past 8 years, I have been walking Costco warehouses with a scanner gun and a notebook, tracking what disappears when supply chains hiccup. While everyone is panic buying toilet paper and bottled water during the next shortage, I quietly load my cart with items that will be gone by April, but nobody is talking about yet. Number 19 is sitting in your local Costco right now for under $12, and when I tell you what it is, you are going to sprint to the warehouse. Just the problem is that when everyone reads the same prepper blogs and watches the same YouTube channels, that is exactly what creates the run on products. Back in March 2020, I watched name brand pasta get cleared out in 4 hours, but the Kirkland quinoa sat untouched for 2 weeks. Here is what Costco is quietly discontinuing this March, and why you need to bulk up before the crowd figures it out. Before I show you the full list, and hit that subscribe button right now because I release insider Costco intels every single week that saves my subscribers hundreds of dollars and keeps their pantries stocked when everyone else is staring at empty shelves. This first one is going to surprise you. Kirkland's signature organic coconut oil in the 2-pack. Most people walk right past this thinking it is just for cooking or some health nut trend. Dead wrong. A Costco buyer I know who has been in procurement for 14 years told me they are discontinuing this because they are switching suppliers and the new contract does not include the organic line. Here is what nobody talks about. Coconut oil has a shelf life of over 2 years unopened and stays solid at room temperature, which means you do not need refrigeration. During a week-long power outage at my house in February 2021, butter went rancid in 2 days. Yet the coconut oil I had stored in my pantry lasted the entire outage, and I used it for everything from sautéing vegetables to moisturizing my hands because the heat was out and my skin was cracking. Here is exactly what I do. I keep 1 jar in the kitchen for daily cooking and 2 Gs in my long-term pantry storage. You can use it to replace butter in almost any recipe at a 1-to-1 ratio. The 2-pack runs about $18 right now. She'll compare that to the tiny jars of organic coconut oil at regular grocery stores that cost $11 each. Most preppers are so focused on freeze-dried meals that cost $4 per serving that they completely miss this. When supply chains tighten in April, this will vanish because the health food crowd will grab every jar and you will be left paying triple at Whole Foods. Look, food prices are climbing faster than most families can adjust their budgets. I have done the math for you and put together a free Costco bulk buying blueprint that lists the exact 27 items you must grab before they disappear, which aisle to find them in, and how to store them so they last. It can feed your family for 3 weeks and costs less than what most people spend on dining out in one weekend. Yet you can grab it for free at the link in the description, so you can stop guessing what to stockpile and start building a pantry that actually works when you need it most. Number 2 sounds boring, but it is absolute gold. Kirkland's signature, peanut butter, pretzels in the 55-ounce container. I know what you are thinking. Pretzels are just a snack. Wrong. These are getting cut because Costco is reducing their snack variety to make room for higher margin items. A warehouse manager in the Midwest told me this directly last month. Here is the insight most people miss. Peanut butter pretzels combine carbs, fat, and protein in a single shelf-stable package that requires 0 preparation. During a 3-day winter storm when my power was out and I could not cook, my family went through an entire container of these because they were filling, required no heating, and did not need refrigeration even after opening. And kids do not complain about food monotony when they are eating something that tastes like a treat. Here is what I do. I buy 4 containers every Costco trip and rotate them every 6 months. They stay fresh for 8 months if you keep the lid sealed tight. The container costs about $9. Compare that to emergency food bars that cost $3 each and taste like cardboard. Most panic buyers are so focused on canned goods and freeze-dried meals that they ignore these entirely, which means they are always available until they are not. Once Costco pulls them in March, you will not find this size or this price anywhere else. Number 3 is one I get asked about constantly. Kirkland's signature organic quinoa in the 4-pound bag. This is being discontinued because Costco is consolidating their organic grain offerings, and quinoa has lower turnover than rice. Here is what blows my mind. Quinoa is a complete protein, which means it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot make on its own. Rice does not do that. Pasta does not do that. During a 2-week stretch when meat prices spiked to insane levels last year, I relied on quinoa as my primary protein source, and my energy levels stayed rock solid. 1 cup of dry quinoa makes 3 cups cooked and contains 8 grams of protein. Here is the dead simple way I use it. Cook it exactly like rice. 2 parts water to 1 part quinoa. Bring it to a boil, reduce to simmer, cover for 15 minutes. Done. You can eat it as a side dish, mix it into soups, or even eat it cold in a salad. The 4-pound bag costs $12 at Costco. The same organic quinoa at Whole Foods runs about $7 per pound. That is a 50% markup. Most preppers have never even touched quinoa because they think it is complicated hippie food, which means it sits fully stocked while everyone fights over rice. Once it is gone in March, you are paying double at health food stores. Number 4 is controversial, but hear me out. Kirkland's Signature Organic Unsweetened Almond Milk. In the 32-ounce cartons, pack of 12. Costco is phasing this out to focus on their oat milk line, which has higher profit margins. Before you say almond milk is not a survival food, let me explain. Yes, these are shelf-stable cartons that last up to a year unopened without refrigeration. When the power went out at my place for 5 days, regular milk spoiled in hours. The almond milk I had stored in my pantry stayed perfectly good, and I used it for everything from cereal to coffee to cooking. Here is the mechanic nobody talks about. Once you open a carton, it lasts 7 days in the fridge just like regular milk. Oh, but until you open it, you can store it in a closet at room temperature for 12 months. I keep 6 cartons in my pantry at all times and rotate them every 9 months. The 12-pack costs about $14, which works out to about $1.17 per carton. Compare that to the single shelf-stable almond milk cartons at Target that cost $3 each. Most people do not even know shelf-stable milk exists, which is exactly why it stays in stock during shortages. And once Costco pulls it, your only option is paying triple at regular grocery stores or doing without when the power goes out. Number 5 is sitting in the supplements aisle right now, and most people walk right past it. Kirkland's Signature Fish Oil, 1,200 milligrams, 400 count bottle. This is being cut because Costco is shifting to a different fish oil formula with higher concentration, and they are clearing out the current inventory. Here is why this matters. Your body cannot produce omega-3 fatty acids. You must get them from food or supplements. During long-term food storage scenarios when fresh fish is not available and canned fish gets boring, fish oil keeps your brain function sharp and reduces inflammation. I take 2 of these every single day, and I have been doing it for 6 years. Last year I opened a bottle that was 3 years old because I found it in the back of my pantry. Still perfectly good. No rancid smell, no off taste. Here is what I do. I buy 2 bottles every trip and keep one sealed in a cool dark closet. The 400 count bottle costs about $18. That is 4.5 cents per capsule. The same fish oil at CVS costs $35 for 200 count. Most preppers ignore supplements entirely because they are focused on calories, but when you are eating stored food for weeks, your micronutrient intake crashes, and that is when decision-making gets foggy. You need to be sharp when things go sideways. Once this formula is gone in March, the replacement will cost more, and you will wish you stocked up. Number 6 is a protein powerhouse that nobody fights over. Kirkland's Signature Chunk Chicken Breast, 12-point female-ounce cans, pack of 6. Costco is discontinuing this to make room for their new rotisserie chicken canned line. Here is the fact that changes everything. Each can contains 13 grams of protein per 2-ounce serving, and the entire can has 7 servings. That is 91 grams of protein in a single shelf-stable can that lasts 5 years. During a power outage when your freezer full of chicken thaws and spoils, this is what keeps you fed. I opened a can that was 4 years old last month when I was testing my pantry rotation. Tasted perfect. No metallic flavor, no weird texture. Here is exactly how I use it. Drain the liquid, dump the chicken into a bowl, mix with mayo, and relish for chicken salad. Takes 2 minutes. You can also toss it into pasta, put it on a salad, or eat it straight from the can if you are in a hurry. The 6-pack costs about $15, which is $2.50 per can. Compare that to the individual cans of chicken breast at the grocery store that run $4 each. Because most panic buyers are so focused on grabbing ground beef and steak, when a shortage hits that canned chicken stays fully stocked until it does not. Once Costco clears this in March, you are stuck paying double at Safeway or going without. Number 7 is the one I have been teasing. and it is going to sound weird. Kirkland's Signature Seaweed Snacks, 10-count variety pack. These are being cut because Costco is narrowing their Asian snack selection to focus on higher volume items. And before you click away thinking this is some bizarre health food, listen to this. Seaweed is one of the best natural sources of iodine on the planet. Your thyroid needs iodine to regulate metabolism and energy. Most people get iodine from iodized salt, but when you are eating long-term storage food that is low in variety, iodine deficiency sneaks up on you and causes brain fog and fatigue. I learned this the hard way during a month-long pantry challenge I did 2 years ago, where I only ate stored food. By week 3, I was exhausted until I added seaweed snacks back into my routine. Energy came back in 2 days. Here is what I do. I eat 1 pack every other day as a side snack with lunch. Each pack is about 30 calories, so it is not a meal replacement. It is a micronutrient insurance policy. The 10-count pack costs about $8. Each sheet gives you more iodine than most people get in an entire week. Most preppers have never even heard of this, which means it is always in stock while everyone is fighting over multivitamins. Once it is gone in March, you are stuck ordering it online for triple the cost or doing without. Number 8 is a carb source that preppers completely ignore. Kirkland's Signature Tortilla Chips, 2-pound bag. Costco is phasing this out to focus on their organic tortilla chip line. Here is why this is brilliant. Tortilla chips are just baked corn. They are calorie-dense, they do not need refrigeration, they last 6 months in a sealed bag, and they are filling. During a weekend camping trip when our cooler failed and all our fresh food spoiled, we survived on tortilla chips, canned salsa, and canned beans. It was not gourmet, but it kept us fed and nobody complained. Here is the exact method. Use chips as the base for nachos. Layer canned cheese, canned chicken, canned jalapenos on top, and heat it if you have power, or eat it cold if you do not. You can also crush them up and use them as breading for baked chicken, or as a crunchy topping for casseroles. The 2-pound bag costs about $5. Compare that to the name brand tortilla chips at the grocery store that cost $6 for a 1-pound bag. Most people think chips are junk food and ignore them during prep shopping, which is exactly why they stay in stock. Once Costco pulls them, you are paying double for half the amount. Number 9 is going to make you rethink how you store fats. Kirkland's Signature Extra Virgin Olive Oil, 2-liter bottle. This is being discontinued because Costco is switching to a different olive oil supplier with updated packaging. Here is the insight. Olive oil is pure fat, which means it is 9 calories per gram. That is the highest calorie density of any macronutrient. When you are trying to stretch food supplies, fat is your best friend because it keeps you full longer and gives you energy. I keep 2 bottles of this in my pantry at all times, and I have had bottles last 2 years with 0 degradation in quality. Here is what I do. Store it in a cool, dark place away from heat and light. Heat and light cause it to go rancid faster. I use it for everything from salad dressing to sautéing to drizzling over bread. The 2-liter bottle costs about $16. It's the same size bottle at a regular grocery store, runs $25. Most preppers are so focused on stocking carbs that they forget fat, and that is a massive mistake, because your body needs fat to absorb vitamins and maintain energy. Once this bottle is gone in March, you are stuck paying 50% more for the replacement. Number 10 is a breakfast staple that is criminally underrated. Kirkland's Signature Organic Maple Syrup, 1-liter bottle. Since Costco is cutting this to make shelf space for their new pancake syrup blend, which is cheaper to produce. Here is what most people do not realize. Real maple syrup is just boiled tree sap. No preservatives, no additives. It lasts indefinitely if stored properly. I have a bottle in my pantry right now that is 5 years old. I opened it last week. Tasted perfect. Here is why this matters. Sugar is a morale booster. When you are eating bland stored food for days or weeks, always something sweet keeps spirits up and prevents food fatigue. I pour this over oatmeal, mix it into coffee when I run out of sugar, and even use it as a glaze for canned ham. The 1-liter bottle costs about $14. Compare that to the tiny bottles of real maple syrup at the grocery store that cost $12 for 12 ounces. Most preppers ignore maple syrup because they think it is a luxury item, which means it stays fully stocked while everyone fights over white sugar. And once it is gone in March, you are paying triple at the fancy grocery stores. Number 11 is a hydration hack that nobody mentions. Kirkland's Signature Organic Coconut Water, 12-pack of 11-ounce cartons. This is being phased out because Costco is consolidating their beverage options. Here is the fact that changes the game. Coconut water is nature's sports drink. It has more potassium than a banana, and it rehydrates you faster than plain water because of the natural electrolytes. And during a stomach bug that hit my house last year, regular water was not cutting it because I was losing fluids too fast. Coconut water brought me back to normal in hours. These are shelf-stable cartons that last a year unopened. Here is what I do. I keep a 12-pack in my pantry and rotate it every 10 months. If someone gets sick, if you are working outside in the heat, if you are dehydrated from stress, this is what you reach for. The 12-pack costs about $11, which is less than $1 per carton. Compare that to the individual coconut water cartons at gas stations that cost $3 each. Most people have no idea you can buy this in bulk at Costco, which is why it never sells out. Once it is discontinued in March, you are stuck paying gas station prices. Number 12 is a meat alternative that actually tastes good. Kirkland's Signature Organic Canned Black Beans. An 8-count pack of 15-ounce cans. Costco is cutting this because they are shifting to a different bean supplier with lower costs. Here is why black beans are a survival MVP. One can has 25 grams of protein and 14 grams of fiber. That is more protein than most cuts of beef per ounce, and fiber keeps your digestive system running when you are eating stored food that tends to be low in roughage. I ate nothing but stored food for 2 weeks during a prepping challenge, and black beans kept me regular and kept me full. Here is the dead simple method. Open the can, drain and rinse the beans, dump them into a pot with cumin, garlic powder, and a little salt. Heat for 5 minutes. Done. You can eat them as a side, put them in a tortilla, or mash them up for refried beans. The 8-pack costs about $9, which is about $1.12 per can. Compare that to the individual cans of organic black beans at Whole Foods that cost $2.50 each. Most preppers ignore beans because they think they cause gas, but that only happens if you do not rinse them first. Once this is gone in March, you are paying double. Number 13 is a calcium source that stores forever. Kirkland's Signature Organic Soy Milk, pack of 12 32-ounce cartons. This is being discontinued to make room for Costco's new oat milk expansion. Here is the fact nobody talks about. Shelf-stable soy milk lasts up to a year unopened, and it has more protein than almond milk or oat milk. 8 grams of protein per cup compared to 1 gram in almond milk. When the power went out at my place and regular milk spoiled, soy milk kept my kids fed and kept their protein intake steady. Here is what I do. I keep 6 cartons in my pantry and rotate them every 9 months. Use it exactly like regular milk. Pour it on cereal, mix it into coffee, and use it in baking. The 12-pack costs about $16, which is about $1.33 per carton. Compare that to the individual shelf-stable soy milk cartons at Target that cost $3.50 each. Most people avoid soy milk because of outdated myths about soy, which means it stays in stock while almond milk flies off the shelves. Once it is gone in March, you are stuck paying double at regular stores. Number 14 is a flavor bomb that makes bland food edible. This is Kirkland's Signature Organic Salsa, 2-pack of 38-ounce jars. This is being cut because Costco is bringing in a new salsa line with different packaging. Here is why salsa is a prepper secret weapon. It is just tomatoes, peppers, onions, and spices. All of that is acidic, which means it is naturally preserved and lasts a year unopened. I have opened jars that were 18 months old and they tasted fresh. Here is the mechanic. Salsa turns boring food into something you actually want to eat. Plain rice becomes edible when you mix salsa into it. Canned chicken becomes interesting when you dump salsa on top. Beans go from bland to bold with 2 spoonfuls. I keep 4 jars of this in my pantry at all times. The 2-pack costs about $8, which is $4 per jar. Compare that to the name brand organic salsa at the grocery store that costs $7 for 16 ounces. Most preppers are so focused on stocking the main dish that they forget about flavor, and that is when food fatigue sets in, and you start wasting food because you cannot stand to eat it. Once this is discontinued in March, you are paying almost double. Number 15 is a breakfast item that requires 0 effort. Kirkland's Signature Organic Ancient Grain Granola, 2-pack of 35-ounce bags. This is being phased out to make room for a new granola blend with higher margin ingredients. Here is what makes this a winner. Ancient grains like quinoa, amaranth, and millet are nutrient-dense and they stay fresh for months in a sealed bag. During a week when I had zero time to cook because of a work emergency, I ate granola with almond milk for breakfast every single day and my energy stayed steady. Here is exactly what I do. Pour half a cup of granola into a bowl, add milk or eat it dry as a snack. And you can also sprinkle it over yogurt or mix it into oatmeal for extra crunch and calories. The 2-pack costs about $13, which is $6.50 per bag. Compare that to the small bags of organic granola at Whole Foods that cost $9 for 12 ounces. Most people think granola is just a fancy cereal and they ignore it, which means it stays in stock while everyone grabs oatmeal and cereal boxes. Once it is gone in March, you are stuck paying 70% more. Number 16 is a vitamin powerhouse that most people skip. Kirkland's Signature Organic Tomato Sauce, 8-count pack of 15-ounce cans. Costco is discontinuing this to consolidate their tomato product line. Here is the insight. Tomato sauce is loaded with lycopene, which is a powerful antioxidant that supports immune function. When you are eating stored food and your fresh vegetable intake drops to zero, lycopene from tomato sauce keeps your immune system functional. So I use this as the base for every pasta dish, every soup, and every chili I make. Here is the simple method. Open a can, pour it into a pot, add garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. Simmer for 10 minutes. You now have a sauce that makes pasta, rice, or canned chicken taste like an actual meal. The 8-pack costs about $7, which is less than 90 cents per can. Compare that to the individual cans of organic tomato sauce at the grocery store that cost $2 each. Most preppers ignore tomato sauce because they are focused on whole cone tomatoes, which means this stays available. Once it is discontinued in March, you are paying double. Number 17 is a snack that doubles as a meal component. Kirkland's Signature Dried Mango 3-pound bag. This is being cut because Costco is shifting to a smaller pack size with higher profit margins. Here is what nobody talks about. Dried fruit is concentrated calories and natural sugar. It's when you need quick energy and you do not have time to cook, dried mango gives you an instant boost. During a camping trip when we ran out of fresh food early, dried mango kept us going until we got back to civilization. Here is the trick. Dried fruit also rehydrates. If you soak dried mango in warm water for 20 minutes, it plumps back up, and you can use it in recipes like oatmeal or yogurt. I keep 1 bag in my pantry and rotate it every 6 months. The 3-pound bag costs about $12. Compare that to the small bags of dried mango at Trader Joe's that cost $6 for 6 ounces. Most preppers ignore dried fruit because they think it is just a snack, but it is a calorie-dense shelf-stable food that requires zero preparation. Once this is gone in March, you are stuck paying 4 times as much for a fraction of the amount. Number 18 is a grain that cooks in minutes. Kirkland's Signature Organic Brown Rice, 12-pound bag. This is being discontinued because Costco is switching to a different organic rice supplier. Here is why brown rice beats white rice. Brown rice still has the bran layer, which means it has more fiber, more protein, and more vitamins. White rice is just empty carbs. During a month-long experiment where I tracked my energy levels on different grains, brown rice kept me fuller longer and prevented the energy crashes I got from white rice. Here is the cooking method. Blend 1 cup of brown rice to 2.5 cups of water. Bring to a boil, reduce to simmer, cover and cook for 45 minutes. Done. You can eat it as a side, mix it into soups, or use it as a base for stir-fry. The 12-pound bag costs about $14. Compare that to the small bags of organic brown rice at Whole Foods that cost $8 for 2 pounds. Most preppers grab white rice because it lasts longer, which means brown rice stays in stock. Once it is discontinued in March, you are paying triple. Number 19 is the one I teased at the beginning, and it is going to blow your mind. Kirkland's Signature Organic Extra Firm. Tofu, pack of 6 14-ounce blocks. This is being phased out because Costco is reducing their refrigerated organic options. Before you say tofu is weird vegan food, hear me out. Tofu is pure protein, 10 grams of protein per serving, and 0 cholesterol. During a time when meat prices were insane, I replaced half my meat consumption with tofu and saved over $100 a month. Here is the secret. Tofu takes on whatever flavor you add to it. Press the water out, cut it into cubes, toss it in soy sauce and garlic powder, bake it for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. It gets crispy on the outside and chewy on the inside. You can add it to stir fry, put it in soup, or eat it straight as a snack. The 6-pack costs about $11, which is less than $2 per block. We'll compare that to the individual blocks of organic tofu at Whole Foods that cost $4.50 each. Most preppers will never touch tofu, which is exactly why it stays fully stocked, while chicken and beef get cleared out. Once it is gone in March, you are stuck paying double or eating canned meat every single day until you lose your mind. Number 20 is a fat source that never goes bad. Kirkland's Signature Organic Ghee, 2-pack of 18-ounce jars. And Costco is discontinuing this to make room for their regular clarified butter line. Here is the fact that will change how you prep. Ghee is butter with the milk solids removed, which means it does not need refrigeration, and it lasts over a year at room temperature. I have a jar in my pantry right now that is 2 years old. Still perfect. Here is what I do. I use ghee for everything I would use butter for. Sautéing vegetables, spreading on bread, adding richness to rice. Yet the difference is that ghee does not spoil when the power goes out. The 2-pack costs about $16, which is $8 per jar. Compare that to the single jars of organic ghee at Whole Foods that cost $14 each. Most preppers do not even know what ghee is, which means it sits untouched while butter flies off the shelves. Once this is discontinued in March, you are paying 75% more. Number 21 is a soup base that makes everything better. At Kirkland's Signature Organic Chicken Stock, 6-count pack of 32-ounce cartons. This is being cut because Costco is consolidating their stock and broth options. Here is why chicken stock is non-negotiable. It turns plain rice into something flavorful. It makes canned vegetables edible. It is the foundation of every soup worth eating. During a 2-week stretch when I was testing my pantry supplies, chicken stock was the ingredient that kept food from tasting like cardboard. Here is the exact method. Use chicken stock instead of water when you cook rice, quinoa, or pasta. The flavor goes from 0 to actually good. The 6-pack costs about $9, which is $1.50 per carton. Compare that to the individual cartons of organic chicken stock at the grocery store that cost $4 each. Most preppers are so focused on buying the food itself that they forget about the ingredients that make it edible, and that is when food fatigue destroys morale. Once this is discontinued in March, you are stuck paying almost triple. Number 22 is a seed that is a complete protein. Kirkland's Signature Organic Chia Seeds 2-pound bag. This is being phased out to make room for a new seed blend. Here is the insight that preppers miss. Chia seeds have all 9 essential amino acids, which makes them a complete protein. 2 tablespoons have 4 grams of protein, 11 grams of fiber, and they expand in liquid, which means they fill you up fast. Yet during a week when I was trying to cut my food budget to almost nothing, I made chia pudding every morning by mixing 2 tablespoons of chia seeds with almond milk and letting it sit overnight. It kept me full until lunch. Here is what I do. Add chia seeds to oatmeal, mix them into yogurt, or make chia pudding. They last for years in a sealed container. The 2-pound bag costs about $10. Was to compare that to the small bags of organic chia seeds at the grocery store that cost $8 for 12 ounces. Most people have no idea what chia seeds are or how to use them, which means they stay in stock while everyone grabs granola and oatmeal. Once this is gone in March, you are paying 4 times as much. Number 23 is a comfort food that stores perfectly. Kirkland's Signature Organic Peanut Butter, 2-pack of 28-ounce jars. This is being discontinued because Costco is bringing in a new peanut butter formula with added ingredients. Here is why natural peanut butter is a survival essential. It is calorie-dense, protein-rich, requires 0 refrigeration, and lasts over a year. I have opened jars that were 2 years old, and they were still good. Here is the mechanic. Peanut butter is fat and protein in a jar. When you need quick energy and you do not have time to cook, a spoonful of peanut butter keeps you going. I eat it straight from the jar, spread it on crackers, mix it into oatmeal, or add it to smoothies. The 2-pack costs about $12, which is $6 per jar. Compare that to the individual jars of organic peanut butter at Whole Foods that cost $9 each. Most preppers ignore peanut butter because they think it is just for kids, but it is one of the most calorie-efficient foods you can store. Once this is discontinued in March, you are paying 50% more. Number 24 is a carb that nobody fights over. Kirkland Signature. Organic rolled oats, 10-pound bag. This is being cut because Costco is switching to a smaller bag size. Here is the fact. Oats are one of the cheapest calories you can buy, and they last up to 2 years in a sealed container. 1 cup of dry oats has over 300 calories and 10 grams of protein. During a month-long pantry challenge, oatmeal was my breakfast every single day, and it kept my energy steady and my grocery bill